Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Sunday where I had extended break there. We just had a few technical difficulties with our platform. We won't be able to connect our guests, unfortunately. The only option we could have is to basically end the stream and then start up a new live stream in 15 or 20 minutes. That's going to be probably difficult to do for the current setup that we have. So we may be able to do that in the future if we're prepared for it, but we're just not prepared this week, unfortunately. So there's nothing we can do in that respect. So apologies to our colleagues at ACR. I know Hesher and Ruckus were ready to come on, and this is going to be a great segment, but unfortunately something has happened with our service provider that's preventing us from onboarding guests. I can't imagine what that would be or why. So we'll just have to carry on, and we'll cover the same stories as best we can. I will also go to comments from our listeners on the different streams. We'll bring on some of those comments shortly as well. I'm Patrick Henningsen, your host. This is episode 550 of the Sunday Wire. And we'll bring on to, I mentioned, the whole Epstein Trump story, Elon threatening that, or blowing the whistle, as it were, that Trump was in the Epstein files. And so just so people know, yes, there is a history there. There they are in 1992. There's Donald. His hair was kind of funny back then as well. So this is a long-running issue for Trump. But yeah, he looks like he's having a good time there. Definitely likes blondes. And Jeff is there. Jeffrey Epstein, 1992, was a man about town, just basically becoming the Svengali that he was, the Israeli intelligence mogul and the U.S. intelligence subcontractor, or whoever. There's Jeff right there in the middle, the little guy in the light blue shirt between Trump and that 7-footer. There's Jeff. Yep. So yeah, they seem to know each other pretty well. I mean, it's not like, oh, I knew him, I met him a couple of times. Trump's been on his jet, maybe up to 7 times. Don't know if he's been to Love Island or not, but they seem to be pretty chummy, pretty pally there. And yeah, where is Jeff, by the way? Where is Jeff? Is Jeff in witness protection? Good question. Good question. Did he actually die at the federal prison in New York? And why did the CCTV cameras stop working? So how could Kash Patel have known that he definitely killed himself if that bit of the tape's missing? A lot of unanswered questions there, and it seems like we saw Dan Bongino and Kash Patel on the interviews, and it seemed like deer caught in the headlights. So there's something going on with this story that there's some missing details. If we knew them, it would probably make all perfect sense. But we don't quite know, so we just have to speculate. But definitely the whole thing doesn't add up. So we'll see. Maybe we'll get some answers at some point. But let's look at what's going on that we need to know about in terms of the Gaza Flotilla, first and foremost. We'll bring that up on screen. Now, the Gaza Flotilla, basically the first one, we had the attorney Frank Romano on the program before, and he talked about the drones bombing the first one, much bigger boat out of Malta. Got hit by an Israeli drone attack. Of course, no condemnation from the U.S. or anybody. So the Freedom Flotilla is now very close. It's now very close. So go to their X feed and you'll get updates there. Okay, they're getting very close. Let's show you how close. I think we can get we'll get their GPS up on screen so you can see exactly where they are. Let's get we've got a live feed from the Garmin GPS tracker on the boat, which they've made publicly available. So that's good. Here's the live tracker. Bring this up on screen. Everybody can see that. There it is. So let's just zoom out and look at where they are. Okay. So this was the last recorded position. So they've passed Alexandria. So they're off the coast of Egypt. And you can see the through line straight to Gaza right there. So not too far, not too far. They're very close, as you can see. Probably we're talking about 150 miles or something like that, if this is in fact accurate. Okay. So we shall see. But so they'll be very soon entering Israeli controlled waters in this area here. And they have a 60-foot boat, which is carrying essential supplies. And Israel's threatened them, of course. Israel likes to attack unarmed people. This is one of their specialties. They excel at that, actually. So this is interesting. So they get to Gaza. There'll be lots of Palestinians waiting for them. Very happy to see them. Very brave of them. But a lot of people are making fun of these people, making jokes about them. Some big podcasters are saying that they should be fish food, basically. So what makes this one unique is that this particular one, there is a very high profile person on board the boat, okay? And it is none other than Greta Thunberg. Now, if you guys have followed 21st Century Wire over the years, you'll know that I'm one of the biggest critics of Greta. Obviously, I'm very skeptical about the whole climate change farrago. Have been from the beginning. I started covering that in 2007, 2008. Attended the COP21, I think, at Copenhagen when Obama was president. That one collapsed, so I covered that as well. So and then Greta came on the scene in about 2015 or so, 2016, somewhere around there, the beginning of Trump's presidency, and they really used her as a figurehead. We're talking about the Greenpeace crowd, the whole climate, the IPCC crowd. Greta was kind of a mascot for that. So I'm very critical of Greta. However, Greta Thunberg is, in what I can see, is absolutely sincere and absolutely understands this issue extremely well. And I give her tons of credit for putting herself out. And the people I've spoke to in that circle, people say, oh, her handlers are basically sending her in there. Listen, her old handlers are horrified. They're horrified that she's chosen this issue. Okay. This was not an issue that they wanted her to basically get onto, because it's hugely controversial. And we've got a clip here. We'll bring her on. This is from CNN. So I think they're talking via cell phone connection. So there's a little bit of a delay on the vocals or whatnot, but this is CNN, and she's 22 years old. Okay, she's not a child. She's a young woman now, and she seems to she knows the situation she's getting in. She understands the issue and she understands the risks. And let's play this. Listen to Greta on CNN with one of the other activists here. Let's listen to this.
All those scenarios were included in our risk assessments that we have made prior to getting out on this mission. And of course, we know that it's a very risky mission, and we know that previous experiences with flotillas like this has resulted in attacks, interceptions, violence, and even cases of death. But of course, none of those risks are even remotely as high as to the risk that Palestinians are facing every day just by trying to survive. And right now, as you said, the mission is to get to Gaza to be able to deliver and distribute the humanitarian aid that we're carrying. But we are well aware of the risks going there, but we are aiming for that.
So you were talking, Greta, about the risk assessment and being prepared for any eventuality in any scenario. So let me ask you this. How far are you willing to go? Because we don't know what kind of confrontation you could face. We just know that you've been warned.
Yeah, and of course the uncertainties are very big here. We have gone out on this mission knowing the risks, but again, not saying anything in times of injustice when we are facing genocide. To be silent is by far a a bigger risk than they're getting on this mission. And we are preparing to respond in a non-violent way. We are 12 peaceful volunteers on this mission. We are not carrying weapons. We are carrying food, sanitary products, medical supplies, things that are necessary to get into Gaza that have been prevented by Israel from getting into Gaza. And we are sailing on international waters bringing humanitarian aid. If they stop this humanitarian aid, that is a crime. We are not doing anything wrong here. We are just doing our part to continue to try to break the siege on Gaza and to open up a humanitarian corridor.
Okay, so there she is, Greta Thunberg, aboard the Madeleine. We've got some of their graphics as well. There it is. I mean, it's a beautiful, kind of in the style of Art Deco stroke, sort of mid-20th century kind of war poster. You can see the Israeli drones flying above their sailboat there. Now, they had a proper boat that was packed with supplies, big boat, and Israel bombed it with drones in international waters. Totally illegal. That's going to end up in court. We spoke to Frank Romano a couple weeks ago. He's lodging legal cases on that, I think. So we'll see another war crime by Israel. Surprise, surprise. So there's Greta. So look, the thing is, okay, you can disagree with Greta on the climate campaigns and the rhetoric and all of that sort of stuff. And there's a big degree of astroturfing there. No doubt about that. But on this issue, this is not a popular issue. There's no corporate machine behind her on this issue. There's the establishment are definitely behind Israel, the entire European establishment, the EU, van der Leyen, NATO, the Swedish government. Okay, only now are some of them starting to break away and kind of condemning Israel and using the word genocide. It's been 20 months. Okay, so they're kind of late. Okay, but anyway, she's been on this issue long before it was popular. Okay, so she's right up there on the front line. She's put herself on the at risk here. One of the last flotillas. Okay, I think 6 or 8 people were killed by the Israelis. They murdered the activists on the boat. Mm-hmm. They will kill them. They won't have any problem with that. And the U.S. government won't do a damn thing. And probably the European governments won't either. Because Israel is basically free to do whatever it wants to anybody, including kill them. So she's taking that risk. So I have big respect for that. I am 100% behind Greta and everybody else on that boat. It's very brave what they're doing. They're putting themselves out, just doing that journey. That's not an easy thing to do. To bring a boat full of supplies across the Mediterranean is not easy. Okay, it's not a motorized high-tech boat. There's literally the only thing they could get is a sailboat because the other one got bombed. The Conscience. We covered that a couple weeks ago. So she's doing that. I got big respect for it. So some people are making fun of her. And one of the people that's making fun of her is Joe Rogan. Okay, I'm going to play you a clip. This is very disturbing from Joe. I gave Rogan plaudits for having Dave Smith on so that he could rake Douglas Murray across the coals. And I thought Rogan did a good job mediating that. But he's just basically undone any of that goodwill by what he said here. I mean, just really crass, really disgusting. I mean, I could use some profanity here in response to what Rogan. I'm going to play you this clip. And he's there with a couple of these, I don't know what they are. These characters on here. I've never seen them before. Anyway, supposedly they're famous. Who knows? But so here he is. So he's basically taking the piss out of Greta. Okay. Now I will stop this intermittently to make comment because there's so many just ridiculous things that are said here. which will have to intervene to sort of set straight. But so here's Joe Rogan, basically belittling Greta Thunberg. He sort of caveats it, but the insult already was lodged. So he's trying to do both sides and saying, yeah, but she could be, brave, but she's going to end up being fish food for the Israelis are going to turn her into fish food or something like that. I don't know what he said here. Let's listen to this.
Bro, that little how dare you girl?
Yeah.
How dare you? The climate change girl? The little autistic girl?
She's an
well, now
adult, nobody
she's
cares.
free Palestine. She's singing things off her phone. Now she's at the front of a boat like George Washington, making its way to Gaza.
What happened to the
Really?
environment,
Bro,
though?
it's like there she is.
Is
She's
the
like
environment done?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
She's got a nice boat.
From the river to the rising sea levels.
She's going to
Not
fix
bad,
it.
dude.
She's going to break the
Not
Israeli
bad.
naval
Really
blockade.
great.
I
worked on
should
it.
got more.
Bro, those IDF guys are going to turn her into cat food. They will light her up from the fucking shore before she's even close. They don't play no
Everyone's
games.
gonna.
They don't play
Both sides are gonna blow that boat.
Yeah, they don't play
The second
no
they see
games.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the IDF's going to light her up. So let's just get this straight. I don't know who these other sort of middle-aged men are.
Maybe come together on who gets to blow it up. Maybe
Smoking
that can
cigars.
bridge the gap here.
She
Could
be
be.
sacrificing
Yeah.
her.
I mean, I'm not impressed. Not impressed with these guys at all. But anyway, so they're sitting there, chomping on their cigars. Okay, the 22-year-old girl. So the middle-aged men are making fun of a 22-year-old girl who is putting herself in the line of fire. Okay, the last Gaza Flotilla in 2010, the Mari Marvina. 6 or 8 people were executed by the IDF. Shot, point blank. They killed them. Okay, that happened. I know 2 of the people who were on that boat. So Joe Rogan doesn't know that. If he did, he wouldn't be making these comments. Okay, does he know that the last boat got hit by a drone? No, he doesn't. I tell you, he definitely doesn't. So he doesn't know anything about this story. And I really, it seems like he doesn't really care about the Gaza issue, not deeply in any meaningful way. If he did, he wouldn't be making such crass comments. So why these middle-aged men are sitting in their Austin, Texas studio making fun of this 22-year-old Swedish girl? She's the one with the balls. Greta Thunberg is the one with the balls. These are the UFC guys that go to fights, they lift weights, they flex, but you won't see them trying to break a humanitarian siege in a boat in the most dangerous kill zone on the planet. Okay? She's got the balls. Greta's got the balls, not Joe Rogan and his other middle-aged blowhards in the studio. Sorry, guys. What else can we say? I could say something right now that you all deserve, but I'll be polite. But you really don't deserve the politeness that I'm offering here. I just probably should be unleashing some expletives against you guys. But anyway, they carry on talking absolute rubbish. Here they go. We'll continue this.
Maybe that can bridge the gap here.
She could
Could
be
be.
sacrificing herself for all of us.
Well, she could be just the best person ever.
Nothing greener
Or
than killing yourself.
She could be someone that they take advantage of
How
and use at the
dare
front of
you.
the line for every cause.
Ooh.
It's one of those.
She's a young kid, man. It's so crazy to take a young kid and like put them as
Alter their lives. This
Yeah.
is going to be your life now.
She's not a kid. She's 22 years old, Joe. She looks small, but she's 22. 22 is an adult, old enough to vote, college graduate age. Okay.
You're the face of X, Y, and Z.
This
You're
is
the face of-
Even if it's not up to her, and it is obviously not obviously, but it could be out of her hands. She probably has handlers and political shit. But it's like,
for now.
at least she's
trying.
She is trying.
Yeah.
employed.
So I don't know who this idiot is. Okay, this guy. If you take on the Palestinian issue, okay, it's very unpopular. Greta took this on a year and a half ago, okay, getting arrested, all the rest of it. She has profiles, so she'll be generally probably treated better than a lot of other people that are getting manhandled by the German police, etc. But you don't get any kudos or rewards for standing up to the Palestinians. You get crushed. You get called an anti-Semite. You get canceled. You get attacked. You get your travel revoked, like kneecap. You get your gigs canceled. They go after your career. Okay, that's the reality. So, Joe just came awake to the issue by platforming Dave Smith, a couple weeks ago, after 18 months. Just coming awake to the issue. Greta's been on that issue for a year and a half. While you're figuring out how you can play this without, drawing the Eye of Sauron of the ADL and Jonathan Greenblatt because you're afraid of them. I mean, how Joe Rogan's uncancelable. He's got escape velocity. He's worth tens or hundreds of millions. He can tell the cancel, the ADL, and all the rest of the cancel machine to F off if he wanted to. Okay, respectfully. Just by covering this issue with some justice that it deserves. But instead, they're making fun of the person who's on the front line. Really, these guys are really a piece of work.
Well, he cares.
Yeah, gainfully employed.
But this Thunberg going to Palestine is like those people going to the unchartable islands and be like, "Hi, I'm Christian."
Yeah. Spear you immediately.
Yeah, like North Sentinel Island.
Jesus, you've forsaken me.
What an idiot. Okay, this guy with the Gilligan's Island hat, okay, does he know that, newsflash for the middle-aged podcasters, okay, with the funny hats, newsflash, there's Christians in Palestine. There's Christians in Palestine. They're the original Christians. They're the descendants of Jesus Christ. And they have lived together in harmony with the Muslim population there since time immemorial. No problems between them. So this clown on Rogan's podcast is framing it the way the Israelis like to frame it, which is that, the Palestinians are Islamic extremists and they're against Christianity. Okay, a lie. A lie. Israel has bombed and destroyed more historic Christian churches in the last 20 months, destroyed sacred sites, no pushback from the American Christian community because they're scared. And most of them are so ignorant they don't even know. These people are ridiculous and really, really disgusting. Ignorant and proud of their ignorance. This is one thing about one of the bad things. There's a lot of great things about America, many, many great things, but there's also a lot of bad things about America. One of the bad things and more unsavory things about America is I've never, of all the places I've traveled in the world and the people I've met, and the cultures that I've interfaced with, I've never met a culture that's so proud of being ignorant than certain people in the United States. They're proud of their ignorance. They really couldn't care less if what they said was totally idiotic. They're almost proud of it. And it's the most bizarre thing, and it's a certain characteristic that is native to the United States and this culture. And I have no idea why. It's probably worthy of a PhD. So if you're any of my right honorable friends listening, you may want to do a PhD thesis on this phenomenon.
Crazy.
Bro.
Or the white social worker who goes into Baltimore ghetto. He's like, "Hey, everybody, I'm here." And they just beat the fuck out of him.
So the Palestinians aren't going to beat the F out of Greta and these people. They're going to welcome them with the hero's welcome that they absolutely deserve. They're very happy to see them. But these clowns on this Rogan podcast are so brainwashed. These people are so detached from reality and so confident in their ignorance. So confident in their ignorance. And they've got the biggest audience in the country, in the world, and they're feeding lies to their audience. Just provable lies, distortions, smears, okay? It's disgusting. It's disgusting. I could do a big FU right now, and it would be totally justified. But I just feel like I don't want to stoop down to that level. And it's very disappointing. Maybe Rogan's high. Maybe they're smoking pot, and then the cigar was just a little bit of theater to mask the fact they're smoking pot. Everything's a joke. I assure you it's not a joke, Joe. It's not a joke for these people. These people, Israel has been blocking food, medical aid, herding them into tents, and then bombing the tents. Okay, that's what's actually happening. That's what you guys are joking about. This is the thing that you're joking about. This is the thing being enabled by Donald Trump. Total annihilation. Okay? MAGA. MAGA. And because of the propaganda, because of the gaslighting, most people in America have no idea what's going on. A few people do, but most don't. Most of them haven't worked out what's actually happening. What we've been reporting in recent days and weeks and months, okay? They have no idea. For Trump, this is the depth of Donald Trump's understanding. Beachfront property, Jared Kushner, would be great. We could do another Dubai on the Med, as long as we get rid of the native Palestinian population. That's basically where they're at. It's pretty sad. It's pretty shallow, but that's kind of what it is. And they're protecting people like this. These are war criminals. These are the worst people on the planet. These are the worst type of fascist killers, mass murderers, ethnic cleansers. These are people, low empathy people that are psychopaths, that are basically vaporizing and exterminating a whole people right in front of our eyes. And the best Joe Rogan and his buddies can do is to make crack jokes about Greta Thunberg, because that's cool and we're high and that's what we do. That's how we roll. That's how you guys roll. That's how you roll. Great. Well, you'll probably be joking about this as well in a week and a half. Look at that. Thousands of people are going to march from Cairo across the Sinai to the Rafah border crossing. You see that? June 15th. You see that? Christians, Muslims, everybody, Jews, okay? And including one of our reporters, 21st Century Wire will be covering this. We have our reporter in the mix, young woman who is going to be covering that. And we will give some great footage and a mini documentary probably as well. So that's historic. I wish I could be going with her, but for various reasons I can't because of my other commitments. That's why she's going. And it's very brave of her to do that. So, you know, these are young people that have got a backbone. These are people who are formidable, who care, who understand right and wrong, and who take life and the world seriously. Okay? Not like these clowns. Look at these clowns. Look at this guy. This guy thinks that Greta is going to be attacked by Muslims with spears when she arrives in Gaza. That's how ignorant and stupid these people are. I mean, you couldn't find bigger idiots than this, quite honestly. Pretty unbelievable. So, you know, anyway, we're gonna we're going to cover the whole CIA podcasting circuit. There's a whole propaganda circuit. They're talking up Muslim terrorist attacks that are going to be breaking out in cities across America. Okay. And to do that justice, we're probably going to hold that off until next week, or maybe we'll do a special with our colleagues, Brian McLean and Ruckus. We couldn't connect them today because of technical issues with our service provider. The uplink wasn't working, so I'm not sure why that was happening, but so I'm probably going to have some great footage, and we really want to have them onto the conversation here. Let's look at a few comments before we wrap things up. And let me see. This is interesting. No to NATO, no to war. Love that. Musk has colonized the state budget instead of Mars. Now, there's something in this comment. Okay? By burning his bridge with Donald Trump, Elon Musk may have basically blown the whole Mars project, okay? Because that would have to get off the ground in this term, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Not that they have the money for it anyway, Elon, but that was something he was talking up at the inauguration. More hype. It's like, send us to the moon first, then we'll be impressed. Prove the concept. Put someone on the moon after 50 years, please. Do it dedicate the mission to Buzz Aldrin. So that's interesting. And if Elon has to wait for a Democrat president in 2028, the Democrats going to take Elon back in because he's pretty much burned his bridges with the Democrats as well. So Elon might have blown the whole Mars gambit himself by being stupid and being kind of a social subtard and a political subtard. And so a high-functioning autist basically blew it with Mars, because that's the reality of it. Unless you're going to do a mem coin. You and Javier Milei, your buddy, can do a mem coin, a Mars coin. Maybe you can fund it that way by doing a mem coin. So here we go. Nobody cares about your Mars project. It says People Unite. They're talking about their Buzz. Buzz didn't go far either. Buzz is on record saying he didn't go far. So yeah, interesting. True. And let me see what else we've got here from Zach. Elon was never going to put anyone on Mars. It's just a scam to raise money. Some say, many will say that that's the case. Many will say. What else have we got here? Well, they had to do something, not even being able to go to the moon, let alone Mars. Exactly as we were saying. So we'll backtrack a little bit. What were people saying in the chat about Greta and Joe Rogan here? We'll see. Yep. This is the sort of, we have to deal with some of these comments. This is the sort of stuff you say. Who organized that? Sounds like a setup. Is Egypt on board? Of course Egypt is on board. It's coming from Egypt. Okay, Egypt's organizing it. People in Egypt. Okay, of course Egypt's on board. Now, whether if the Israelis want to kill this, then they just have to threaten that they can't guarantee the safety of. Looks like it's going to be about 7,000 to 10,000, 15,000 maybe people marching. Significant amount of people. So if it's a security issue, Egypt doesn't want to have a mass murder killing on their hands with the trigger-happy Israelis. And who knows what they could do. They've got ISIS. Israel's been funding ISIS in Gaza, trying to infiltrate and destabilize the community. That's on record. The Israelis admitted it. Netanyahu admitted it last week. So that's the sort of risks that are involved. So let's see what else. Here we go. Pat doesn't want to stoop to the level of casting insults, but branding cannabis users as negative strawman argument is fine. Listen, to the cannabis crowd, I was branding people who get high on air with whatever 50 million audience who are joking about a genocide. Okay. I'll brand those guys as deviant cannabis users. Thank you very much. Okay. So I think the cannabis people can handle themselves. You're all adults. I'm sure you can handle a little bit of criticism. But if you're going to get high and joke about people getting killed, then I'm going to joke about you getting high. How's that? Fair is fair. So here we go. ZP Zap. They will be there on Judgment Day too. We all will. We all will. And well said. That's how they roll. You got it, buddy. That is exactly how they roll. What else the crowd saying here? Rogan is a coward little boy. This is what people are saying. We're getting a barrage of comments about Joe Rogan, and not all good. Not all good. So here we go. Chatter X, again, no to NATO, no to war. Love the PFP there. Unlike the old, quote, old liberals, the neoliberals did not demand a smaller state. They demanded a new neoliberal state, one that protects the rich from the poor, the capitalists from the workers. Separate discussion, separate argument. We're not going to get into that ideological debate. We don't have the bandwidth for it, the time either. So Americans love their cults. You better believe it. America is the land of cults, okay? Not just religious cults and what you might think are wacko cults. There are cults literally baked into American mainstream society. Religious, corporate, cultural, all sorts of things. And politics. The cult of personality has never been stronger in politics. You know, they Americans can whip up. They can whip up a cult like cults. Cults are us. Cults to go. They can whip up a cult in a matter of weeks. They know how to do it. They're really good at it. I'll give you an example. They turned Joe Biden, a geriatric, senile, quasi-corpse of a politician, they turned him into a spry, dynamic leader. And it was enough to fool quite a few Democrats. And look at Zelensky, America and Britain too, by the way. But they turned Zelensky into a cult figure. And although he's losing purchase now, that thing ran for a couple of years, pretty strong. So yeah, Americans can spin up a cult like nobody's business. Never underestimate. That's one thing they can do really well. And just to a large degree, and I hate to say it, folks, but MAGA and Donald Trump has become, and the Musk cult, okay? When I was criticizing Elon, the MAGA trolls would come and besiege the comment threads. How can you say that? Why are you picking on Elon? He's got Asperger's, all these excuses. He's the richest guy in the world that bought his way into the White House. I'm going to criticize him. It's just, people, no, you can't say that about Elon, because he created a cult image. Clout, money, and power, as I said. Clout, money, and power. That's what Trump and Elon Musk know very well. Donald Trump is effectively a reality TV presenter who has the image of being a competent CEO. But can that translate into being the commander-in-chief of a country like the United States? I don't think so. And now it's showing. As the title of the show, MAGA is fraying at the seams. Look at the foreign policy front. We'll wrap it up here quite soon. But you've got three major flashpoints, two potential World War III situations, Ukraine, Russia. Trump and his team, if you want to call it that, this clown car full of so-called negotiators, led by Keith Kellogg and whoever else, Little Marco from Florida. These people are a joke. Okay, and look where it's heading, careening towards World War III. That's a big L for Donald Trump. Big L. The other one, Iran negotiations. That's not going well. Loss. L. Gaza, Israel, Palestine, Israel. No. It's going really bad, actually. Another L. So the three biggest ones, he's fumbling all three. And the blowback, the potential risk for regionally in the Middle East, Europe, and the United States, for that matter. They're hitting Russian nuclear deterrent bombers. I mean, how stupid is this? And Trump saying, I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about it. Oh, God. It's a pathetic. You're worse than Biden. Trump, you're worse than Sleepy Joe. Because at least Sleepy Joe had an excuse. He was senile. You're allegedly compos mentis, and you still don't know what's going on. I didn't know they tried to assassinate Putin. His helicopter landed in Kursk. I didn't know anything about that. Oh, really? As the reporter's asking him. How humiliating for America that either he is lying and playing stupid because he doesn't want to cop the responsibility of what they've just done using their proxy, Ukraine, and again with the drone swarms, okay? Because you don't want to man up and own it because it's a clandestine operation. Oh, we didn't do it. The Ukrainians did it. Playing that same game Sleepy Joe played. Biden played. So Trump is probably in that sense much weaker than Biden. Weaker under the thumb of pretty much everybody. And doesn't want to make any decisions. Got no strategy, got no policy. It's like, I'm going to be really upset if they don't make a deal by, I don't know, I have got a date in my head, somewhere in my head. That's what he said the other day. It was just completely stupid. I've got it in my head somewhere. And if it's not done by then, we're going to be really, some bad things are going to happen. Bad things are going to happen. So he's got Lindsey Graham running around in Kiev during negotiations, beating the drums of war. He's let Mike Pompeo running around in Odessa, meeting with Nazis, literally. And Trump's allowing he's got no control. And the Russians are pissed off to no end, and we could end up in World War III. And when we do, when World War III happens, Donald Trump will say, it's not my fault. It's Biden's fault. He'll be fobbing off responsibility right to the bitter end. Okay? It's pathetic. It's absolutely. Biden had an excuse. His brain was AWOL. Trump doesn't have that excuse. Trump is just stupid. And he's bullshitting his way through some of the most dangerous situations in history. And that's not good. Okay? And you know what? Okay, no one's perfect. Trump is not an intellectual giant. He doesn't understand geopolitics. We get all that. But he's not able to even assemble a team that's competent. They've botched all of these negotiations. They're failing on every single one. And then they want to take on China. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Oh, we need to stop China. They're going after Taiwan. You want to start a war with China. Good luck with that. You can't even sort out these other three situations. You want to add another fourth disaster to your plate. Good luck with that. Absolutely amazing. Look, we could go on and see some great comments here. Thank you guys for weighing in. Appreciate it. Anyway, we're going to wrap this up. And I'm sorry we couldn't connect our team. We will continue. The CIA podcasters flacking for a war with Iran and another 9/11 or daily shooter, false flag on U.S. soil. They're all at it. We've got all the video clips of the different podcasts. We're going to basically take them to the cleaners, and I'll do that with my colleagues on another broadcast, either on this program next Sunday, or we'll do it midweek, or do a special broadcast. We'll see, but we got plenty of material there, and this needs to be called out. So we're going to do that. I'm your host, Patrick Henningsen. Thank you for joining us for the Sunday Wire, and again, support the Boiler Room on ACR. That's Brian McLean, aka Hesher's host of that program, with his great team as well, and also the Daily Ruckus, again on ACR. This is the Sunday Wire. You can catch us on the archive afterwards. If you miss any of the live broadcast, we're always there. Go to 21stcenturywire.com. Just hit the archive for Sunday Wire. We will have an archive page for the midweek Wire, hopefully this week. We'll set that up. And that show's going really well. Had a great one with Mats Nilsson. And we got another great one coming up as well on Wednesday. And so, yes, and to do all this, we've got so much free content which we supply to our audience. And I know you guys really like what we're doing lately, and we want to keep doing it and do more of it and do it better. Support 21st Century Wire. Go to our website, donate. You got that tab up at the top. Okay, just hit that, and you got all the different options, every type of option, even anonymous donations through crypto and whatnot, or subscribe and become a member at 21wire.tv. It's another way you can support us as well. So that's all available there, and so we really appreciate it. We're going to need your help more than ever going forward. Those of you who have donated, who have subscribed and become our monthly members, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. We're working hard to build all the things that we're trying to build, but getting these new shows off the ground have been a lot of work, and we're very happy with the progress so far. And I know you guys are as well. So we appreciate your support. So yes, managing all that, all these platforms, and we'll hopefully be adding another platform as well. And I'm also going to be on Substack now, so you'll find me there as well. There'll be a whole nother group of content, articles, and different types of commentary I'll have up there, as well as reactions to podcasts that I'm on as well. And additional analysis, in addition to what we have at 21stcenturywire.com. So we'll have all of that available for you guys. So listen, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there. Again, appreciate you guys joining us for episode 550 of the Sunday Wire. It's going well. It's going well, and but the world is not going great. So we're going to try to be there for you guys. And again, just a reminder, that's coming up. We'll have coverage of this. We've got our people in the mix. So, and that's no small undertaking. And that's some of the work that we're doing out in the field. We're able to do that because of your support, and to keep this platform viable, we need your help to do that as well. So thank you, and looking forward to connecting with our team member on the ground. You get more details of that. We'll be announcing, showing more of that in the coming week. So look forward to that. But listen, that's all we got time for today. Appreciate you guys, and we'll see you when we see you. In the meantime, we'll leave you with the music of Joseph Arthur. Take care. All the best.
Genocide is never justified. There ain't no reason. 'Cause human beings are more than just a kind, defined by race or religion. 'Cause we all have souls and a mission here on earth. Only God knows why. You can't decide their death, 'cause you weren't here for their birth, or their first laugh or cry. Don't let the children die. Don't let the children die. sisters and brothers. We know it's wrong when we see their fathers cry with their mothers. Genocide is never justified. There ain't no reason. 'Cause human beings are more than just a kind, defined by race or religion. 'Cause we all have souls and a mission here on earth. Only God knows why. You can't decide their death, 'cause you weren't here for their birth or their first laugh or cry. Don't let the children die. Don't let the children die. Sisters and brothers, we know it's wrong when we see their fathers cry with their mothers. Don't let the children die. Don't let the children die. Sisters and brothers, we know it's wrong when we see their fathers cry with their mothers.
Han venido a acompañar esta tarde y no podría ser la excepción. El partido Fuerza, 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 se vive hoy, se vive esta manifestación desde el corazón y las entrañas de un pueblo. Por eso hoy queremos recibir a ese líder, a ese caballero. You are the revolution that you've been waiting for. You are the revolution that you've been waiting for. You are the revolution that you've been waiting for. You are the revolution. You are the revolution. You are the revolution. You are the revolution. That you've been waiting for. You are the revolution. You are the revolution. You are the revolution. That you've been waiting for. You are the revolution. Revolution. When you're tired of being just a commodity, you are the revolution. And when gaslit into another war, terrorism to steal your sovereignty. Hold fast, watch it collapse. I know that we still have the power. You want a revolution. They want to centralize, monopolize, control your thoughts. Breathe, go deep, go outside, put seeds in the ground. You are not alone. You are not alone. You are the revolution that you've been waiting for. You are the revolution that you've been waiting for. Alone. You are the revolution that you've been waiting for.
You are the revolution.
You are not alone. That you've been waiting for.
Oh, hi. Is this a train to the revolution?
Why, yes, my lady. And you're right on time.
For in the final analysis, we all inhabit this small planet, and we are all mortal.
Lately I've been watching the world gone mad. Brothers and sisters full to take a stand, to hate their fellow man and other man. Divide and conquer is the acronym plan. Distract the people, control the story.